mates, how are you doing? As promised, I were investigating C&D tins. They're lovely tins, like we all know, and praise to C&D. It's a brilliant tin. It's light aluminium and hermetically sealed with a pull ring. You can't, I'm always impressed by this tin, and a plastic lid when the pull ring is gone, and a lot of design went in this. I can appreciate that they thought with the suppliers a long time to design this. When my tobacco is finished, I try to use these tins like for candles or things like that, or decorate it, or I store my shaving stuff in those tins in the bathroom, all kinds of things. What I wanted to address is short to medium storage in these tins. When they're opened, you could put the cap, and I noticed it's good for a week or two, but the seal is not enough to stop the drying out. Maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and as we all know, you jar it up. You have to, as soon as the tin is open, it's better for medium to long storage, use a jar. But I wanted to extend the life of the seal here. So I wanted, my goal is not change anything about this tin, just add a seal under the lid, if it's possible. There's other ideas how to use the tin with a different lid, but that was my experiment. So what I did is 3 tins. I did one rubber seal, this one, around here, and you see the design of, there's actually a lip here which actually which closes the tin. See? So all praise to C&D. They did really a brilliant job. And the thing about a seal, you have to pressure on the seal, and the screw jars where they have a seal under the lid, the advantage is that you have pressure with the screw. I talked to, I sent an email about, could you have a screw top? But of course, that takes time and is maybe too expensive. It adds to the cost of the tin. So I understand maybe they don't want to do that. And I thought maybe a simple seal around here is possible. So I did one rubber seal and one silicone seal around here, like these. And if you look at the closely of the edge, you see actually the point where you have to apply that seal. And for me, it's not easy, you know. The silicone tube or the rubber solution is not easy to accurate put the seal there. So I did my best. And the third tin was a control. In other words, no change, you know. And I put a couple of cotton pads with water and sealed the tins A, B, C like this, and weighed the tin and weighed with the cotton pads and weighed it after the water, and closed the lids, and I worked out what the water content was day 0. And at the beginning I measured the weight of the tins you know, every week, but I saw it's actually a slow process, so I did it in the end I was doing it every 2 weeks or something like that. Otherwise there was no change. And the experiment is over after 6 months, and I thought that's enough to give you an idea if the seal worked better than nothing, you know, the control. You see on the lids here the condensed water drops, and the difficulty is to stop water vapor. I think these lids are PVC, and PVC is actually a very good against water vapor. I don't know for sure what the lids are made, what plastic it was, but I think C&D thought really deep about that. The supplier probably advised PVC. So if we look at the results, you see in the curve the greater loss of water is the control, about over 30% in 6 months, and that will affect your tobacco easily. It depends how moist that particular tobacco is in the beginning. So, but 30% is enough to feel really dry, and it will increase in the next months, of course. So I took that as proof that there's a problem, you know. Maybe for a month you could keep the tobacco in the tin and smoke it, you know, but if you're opening the lids, of course it will be a higher loss than the curve here. Didn't open the tins in the experiment, but it gives you an indication where you could improve the seal. And the rubber solution and the silicone were about the same loss, about 6%, and 6% is, you know, minimal change of moisture, and it means the seal works with the pressure of this lid. But of course this is a kind of prototype, and it doesn't mean, you know, for a production of a sealed lid, you know, there's this is just an indication that a better seal could contribute to the storage of these tins. You know, even if you're opening and smoking the tobacco, you could probably get 2 months or something like that. There are certain tobaccos you want to actually smoke frequently after you tried it. But at the moment, if you're talking about a couple of 3 months, it will get too dry. So that was a good start, and I decided silicone is better because rubber is sometimes encouraging mold, and silicone is synthetic and clean. And so part one, you know, a good result, but the problem is how to apply a robust seal when you put it under the lid and pocket, you know, and put it back and open it again. You know, it has to be robust, not falling apart. And I noticed in the silicone seal, when I opened the tin, I noticed the silicone seal had delaminated from the PVC top. So the practical solution is another thing. So I thought, you know, the food industry had a lot of tops and with silicone for sealing jars, mason jars and ball jars. So in their wisdom, C&D made the diameter here 86 millimeters, just the same of a ball jar, the wide mouth, like this one. So you would think, oh, that's a help, because there are tops like this one, which claim to be 86 millimeters and 89 here, with silicone seals. I got them from China. They're not too expensive, but I thought this is a solution. But this particular one is not 86 millimeters, it's more like 80, and that means the top sits, but the seal is not perfect. I will test it with tobacco in part 2, but I don't think it's enough. That was one idea. So the other idea was, well, wait, we'll put one of these silicone layers on the plastic top. So I got sheets of silicone food grade, again from AliExpress, you know, but they offered different thickness, and I decided that 0.5 millimeter was enough, not too thick, because you have to close the lid. So that's what I did here. Housekeeping, of course, it's very late. Savinelli Lumberjack. It's a beautiful variation of Canadian pipe, but the oval here on the shank. And always find the Canadians or this pipe smokes cool and dry because the shank strips a bit of heat and water vapor. I'm still smoking aroma. I find actually with the Zippo, if you think it's empty, turn it upside for a few minutes and try it again, because the fuel drains to the wick. I started the 2 experiments with this lid and the silicone insert under this lid. That's the better solution, because you're not changing anything with the production. You just put a silicone insert, and it will be not expensive, you know, but I think it gives pipe smokers a bit more flexible on actually added value and the tin. If you could do that, you know, 2 or 3 months would be a nice storage. I don't think you could achieve more than a year, because you saw 6 months is 6%, and let's say it's, I don't know, 12% for a year. Maybe, you know, 1 year is medium storage, you know. In the jars you put them years, you know, 3-5 years or longer, and I don't think you could have adequate seal with this particular solution. I hope C&D is thinking about that, you know, but I understand they had objectives and they fulfilled, you know, actually with they probably assume that when you open it, you smoke it in a couple of weeks, and or you jar it up, you know. But of course, you know, jarring up, you have to buy jars, and okay, they're not really expensive, but they take place, and if you could use the same container longer, that would be maybe an advantage. So part 1 was encouraging, but you know, it's always the practical solution that actually the details of how the seal functions applied, and how robust that seal is, you know, because you'll open it and close it, open and close it. So I'm still looking at that, and a later video I'll give you my either a kind of solution or throw the towel. So that's my experiment, and we'll see how the seal actually performances, you know. So that's this video. I also am doing a study of 9mm filters, their width, you know, and I've got surprising results, so the next video will be about that. See you all, mates, and take care out there, and